going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the last week. This is our last episode before Christmas and our second to last episode of 2020. So hit the like button if you enjoyed the Scale News Update, and let's jump into this week's topics. First for this week, it looks like the MST CMX J4 RTR is becoming available for purchase. It looks like these are slowly starting to roll out. Now, this is their CMX platform, which is their short wheelbase and non-portal axle design. This has got a center mounted motor and a rear mounted battery. These are just a nice short wheelbase, narrow axle made for small tires, short wheelbase vehicles like this J4 body, which is styled after something like a Suzuki Jimny. Like I said, this is the RTR. The kit version has been available for quite a while, and I believe you can even find some of these bodies available separately now as well. But regardless, if you're looking for something to just pull out of the box and run and you want the scale style of the J4, here's an option. Put it on your list and wait till it hits your favorite store. Next, Axialfest Midwest dates have been released, not by Horizon and Axial, but by the Badlands Off-Road Park, who hosts Axialfest Midwest. June 24th and 25th showed up as the dates for Axialfest Midwest on their event calendar, which they posted last week. But maybe you didn't get to go last year, maybe you did and you just really want to go back. Either way, put these dates on your calendar and start planning and getting those rigs ready. Today, John Holmes from Holmes Hobbies released a sneak preview of their new winch design that they're about to release. This is an internal style winch, which means that the spool that the winch line actually goes on is inside of the case size of a normal servo, or close to it. I think this one might even be just a hair smaller, but what this has is a internal winch style. The case is properly machined specifically to be used as a winch. It's got windows open on 3 sides, but they're all milled properly for winch line to feed through. It's not a normal modified servo case. This is specifically machined for this purpose. Now, this winch is pretty impressive as far as some of the specs that are being toted at this far. It's rated from between 2 and 4S LiPo, meaning that it'll run off of battery power, not powered through your receiver and then your BEC inside of the ESC. It'll actually use external power, a lot more speed, a lot more torque, usually gained off of that style, and you don't stress the BEC inside of your receiver or the need for an external BEC to run one. Holmes Hobbies is stating that this is fast, like really fast, and that is beneficial to a lot of us who are looking to winch in competition. A fast winch is nice to have when you're trying to complete something in the time limit that the course has. So this will be cool to see. Right now, Holmes Hobbies doesn't have all of the info released publicly yet, but they say that that is coming, and the release date for these is about 6 weeks out. So perfect for the build season. This is definitely going to be one to watch for while you're shopping around. So bookmark Holmes' site, wait for it to pop up. And then tonight, while I was filming this news story popped up from Boom Racing, who is releasing their own version of an internal winch. Now, this one looks to have a little bit different style case, where it's actually got a milled section of the case and just has some standoffs. This is more traditional to how people have just done modified servo cases before, but it is an internal winch. However, this does have free spool, so you can push a button to be able to pull the line out rather than having to spool it out with the actual controller. Now, that is a nice feature if you can actually reach into where your servo is. That's the biggest problem with free spool designs on winches, is just being able to get to them. Usually the biggest complaint when you're actually using a servo winch that is normally internal to the vehicle. Kind of a tough one there. Now, this servo winch is rated at 36 kilograms of power. Not sure what the actual speed of that's going to be, because the power rating and the actual line speed can vary depending on where they're at. But this servo winch is going to run off of ESC, or receiver voltage. It's rated from 6 to 8.4 volts. So it's going to be something that is still plug and play. You're just going to plug the actual port into the receiver, and then everything is controlled internal to the servo. Boom Racing also doesn't state a release date, just says coming soon. We don't know the prices on this winch or the previously mentioned Holmes winch, but we'll watch for both of them. Next, while searching for news topics, I ran across these Hobby Plus 1/18 and 1/24 scale vehicles that AMAIN is now carrying. And they looked familiar. So I looked them up and they are basically just an RGT, something that is a very popular brand in that 1/18th, 1/24 scale market. Normally when you see these rebrands of those, the price is a lot higher than what you can get those at from sites like Banggood. But it looks like A-Main and Hobby Plus are carrying these at the same price as what you can get those on and wait for the overseas delivery if you're shopping through something like Banggood. So if you liked those RGTs or you thought about getting one in the past, looks like you can pick one of these up for the same cost and much faster shipping, I would assume, if you're gonna get them through A-Main. So they've got 1/18th and 1/24 scale and a bunch of different body styles of each. So check those out if you're looking for an inexpensive little vehicle that kind of has a little bit of a proven history behind it. So there you go if you're shopping for some small scale. And speaking of small scale, the Axial 1/24 scale Betty body, the limited edition serial numberized option that's commemorating the initial release of the Axial AX10 Betty, is shipping already. This is faster than what the estimated date was for these. So people are already getting them, already looking and finding what their serial number is. It says it right on the frame rail. So when you get yours, if you ordered one, post up what your serial number is, looking to see who ends up with those real low numbers. It's going to be interesting to see and kind of just a fun little Easter egg hunt of who's going to end up with the cool serial numbers. I'm waiting for mine to arrive. I'm anxious to see what I've got. And let's stay right on that 1/24 scale vein. Yeah, Racing has announced some carbon fiber 1/24 scale frame rails to replace the stock C-channel rails that come on the 1/24 scale. Now, I'm not a big fan of flat rail chassis normally. 1/24 scale though, I'll let it slide. Kind of cool. I know that there's actually a couple of other 1/24 scale carbon fiber rail options as well, but seeing that this one was just announced for release, it felt like a good time to cover it. And then you remember that Power Wagon body that Proline announced a while back for the 1/24 scale, and they put that just awful paint job on it? Well, they posted new photos today with a much better paint job, much more flattering overall look to this 1/24 scale Power Wagon body. This looks much more acceptable. I wish that they would update the photos on the website to match these new photos that they just took, because these look pretty good and make that Power Wagon body for the 1/24 scale look very acceptable. So good job to Proline for taking another swing at it. And if you're looking for some videos to watch, Proline released a video on the IROC Z28 Camaro no prep body that was pretty entertaining. Check that one out, it's worth the watch. And after you finish that, go over and watch the SBG video of the top 5 builds from the Scale Builders Guild forum. Matt highlights and kind of goes over his top 5 choices of builds from the forum in 2020. Some great looking vehicles in there. A great video to watch. He pulls a lot of the progress pictures in from each of those builds as well. So something to look at. And then if you enjoy them, you can go over to the Scale Builders Guild forum and actually see really in-depth detailed builds of each. This coming Friday, even though it is Christmas, I'm not traveling anywhere, so probably still going to do Friday Night Live build. Sunday, STL Sunday or 3D Printing Sunday. We'll come up with a new project. Last Sunday, we did the Motorhead version of Santa's sleigh. Motor on the back, steering wheel. It's made for 1.9s to bolt up to it. If you've got a 3D printer and need a last minute Christmas decoration, here's a fun one. There you go. And come join Matt and I tomorrow, Wednesday, for live stream takeover. And this week, I think we're gonna have a guest join us. And then one of my favorite posts that I ran across today, Pardon My Noob, or Turks and Jerps on Instagram, he's the one who builds scale dumpsters. Got one right up there on the shelf even from him. But this year he built a gingerbread house that is appropriately a dumpster as well. It was definitely worth a chuckle and very appropriate of 2020. Like I said, this is the second to last scale news update for 2020. So next week, I'll do my top 10 news stories. For this week's question, what were your favorite news stories of the year? Or maybe one of the rants over some ridiculous named product or a choice of a body style, who knows? Post them in the comments below. Let's finish 2020. I don't think I missed a single scale news update in 2020. I think that I hit them all, which if I did, which I think is true, but it's gonna be pretty impressive for me. But with that, Thanks as always for joining me on your Tuesdays in the Scale News Update. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of the week. Merry Christmas. Thanks again for joining me. I'll see you on the next one.